Guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Danielle and I am the owner of Damn Fancy Creations. If you guys are new to my channel, I do want to let you know that you can catch my content in two other places. I have a large tutorial group on Facebook as well as a smaller, more personal patron group where I offer free files, exclusive discounts, and group challenges each month. If those sound like something you guys might want to check out, I will link the info in the description below. For today's tutorial, we are doing another striped tumbler. I don't know why I have been on this striped tumbler kick lately, but it seems like all the tumblers I'm doing are striped tumblers. This one is a little bit different because it is more of a color block tumbler where we are going to be using 4 different colors. And these colors are going to be your typical fall colors that you would see at this time of year. I really have not used a lot of these colors yet this year. I've been using more of the pinks and golds, more of like a classy fall side, but this tumbler is definitely more of your typical fall tumbler that you would see. I'm also going to be using a fun fall image that I printed on printable vinyl and applied that to my cup. This was also another one of those instances where I was planning to do a bleach spot or power wash it and add water slide, but I was out of water slide, so I had to come up with a different plan. So if you guys are ready to see how I did this fun fall color blocked tumbler, let's get started. Alright guys, so to start this tumbler, we're going to need a prepped tumbler painted white and then 4 different colors that you want to use. I am using these 4 because they are typical fall colors and I have not used those this year. So to divide our tumbler into 4 equal sections, I get the total length of the tumbler and then divide it by 4. And then I will mark off each section. So this one would put all of my sections almost at 2 inches. It's a little bit less than 2 inches. And I am just marking it with a Sharpie. You know, if it's not 100% perfect, it's not going to matter. As long as you get them pretty even, that way it all looks pretty equal when we have our glitter and stripes and everything else on the cup. So I have my little dots. And then we are going to tape off 2 of the sections. So I am taping my tape in between the dots so that one part is left exposed and one part is covered up. And the first 2 color blocked sections I am going to apply with clear spray paint. So I do want to make sure that my tape is down pretty good so that there are no drips underneath the tape. So now we have 2 sections taped off. So after we have our tape on there, I just kind of held my glitter colors kind of together and decided what order I wanted them in. You know, this is just personal preference, however you want your glitter to look on your cup. So I am going to take some clear spray. I try to use gloss when I can find it because it does not dry as quickly as the matte does. And I am going to go spray these two white sections. I am going to go ahead and open up the gold glitter, have it ready and waiting for me. So basically, I'm just going to sprinkle this glitter on the section that we already sprayed with our clear spray paint. And I did spray both sections. So I'm going to pour this glitter back in here really quick and open up my orange glittered bag and sprinkle it on the second section. I should have applied this with a cup. It was kind of hard to kind of pour out of the bag since it was such a fine glitter. And since this was also the second color, some of my spray paint did dry a little bit, or maybe I just missed a section. So I did have to go back and respray this section. Just to get the good coverage that I wanted. The next time I do a cup like this, I will probably spray one section at a time so that the second section is still just as wet and tacky as the first section. So now we have really good coverage with that second glitter color. And once this clear spray has a chance to dry, I will spray it really good to seal all of that glitter in, and then we will be ready to apply the second colors. So now these two colors are super dry. They're sealed in really well. So I am going to remove the tape that is separating the sections. And once all of the tape is removed, we are ready to apply our two other glitter colors. Now, most of the time I do use clear spray paint. For this one, I probably could have used clear spray paint, but I would have had to been super careful when sprinkling the glitter. So I just decided to go ahead and use Mod Podge. I have been using it way more than I typically do lately for some of these cups. You guys usually never see me use Mod Podge, but for these stripes, it's just a little bit more convenient than having to spray with clear spray and then be very careful about where I sprinkle the glitter. So I'm just kind of globbing it onto the section and then carefully smoothing it out around the edges, just so we don't get any clumps of Mod Podge. Really thick spots we definitely don't want, because then that will take longer to dry. And then once we get everything smoothed out and evenly covered, we are going to sprinkle our first color. I do go around it a couple times because it can dry, and I just want to make sure that everything will stick well. And since I sealed my first two colors and they had a chance to dry really, really well, I wasn't really worried about the purple glitter sprinkling onto the orange or gold glitter, because once the purple dries, I can just brush everything off really well and not have any contamination. And now we're sprinkling our blue on. And because the blue and purple were pretty dark colors, I did go back and add a second layer with Mod Podge just to get really good even coverage. So this blue and purple had been sitting for a while, so the Mod Podge was pretty dry. I mentioned in one of my other videos that typically when I do Mod Podge and darker colors, I will tint my Mod Podge to match the glitter color. I had not used Mod Podge in quite a while when I was doing these cups, especially for darker colors, so it totally slipped my mind that I typically tint it. Because if you tint your Mod Podge, you won't be able to see the white base underneath, which can save you from doing a second coat. So we're doing this second layer the exact same way. I'm just kind of globbing some Mod Podge on and then going back around and smoothing it out, getting rid of any big globs, but making sure that everything is covered well so we get a good even coverage of glitter. And we are doing the same thing with the blue. And once this cup sits for about 24 hours, I will brush off all of the excess glitter that may be on there. Then I will seal it really well with Rustoleum 2x clear spray. And then we will put it on the turner for the first layer of epoxy. I do wait about 24 hours if I'm using a lot of Mod Podge, which I definitely did for this cup. So here is our cup after 2 layers of epoxy. Everything is pretty smooth. I went and sanded around the edge, so we have about 2 millimeters of stainless exposed, which will help get a really good seal on the final couple coats of epoxy. And these are the vinyl stripes I'm going to be using. I cut out some black sparkly vinyl, some gold thin lines, and some nail tape. A lot of time with my vinyl lines, I just cut out as many as I need. I was running low on regular black vinyl, so I decided to go with some sparkly black vinyl and see how that turned out. Typically with my stripes, I do two sizes, a larger size and a thinner size. The larger one is usually about 0.07 or 0.06. And the smaller skinny lines are about 0.03, 0.035. And I am just starting with the black one, and I am wrapping it around the tumbler where all of the colors meet. Bless you. That was my puppy. So I'm just wrapping these black strips around where all of the colors meet. And then I will go back and place the really thin gold lines on top of the black lines. So I am just placing these gold lines in between the black ones. I laid the black first just to give the gold a darker background to sit on and help them pop a little bit more. Because if I place the gold directly onto the glittered, then the gold vinyl would have blended into the gold glitter and probably would have blended into the orange a little bit. So this way, with the black background, it really helps that gold pop. That is my corgi baby. She barks at everything. So now what I'm going to do is apply my printable vinyl decal. This was the one that I was going to apply with water slide, but since I was out of water slide, I had to improvise with what I had. I didn't know how this was going to print out and cut, but I actually really like it. There were a lot of little tiny pieces that I had to get out with these tweezers, but the image printed really nicely. The colors were super vibrant, which I ended up really liking. If I would have printed this on water slide, I don't think that the colors would have been as dark or vibrant. So again, I'm kind of glad that I was forced to use printable vinyl. I did forget that I was going to apply some nail tape, so I'm going to apply the nail tape before I apply the image. And with this nail tape, I am just going to go on the top and bottom side of the vinyl that we already laid. And nail tape, I don't really think has a color. The pack I purchased probably has like, I don't know, close to 20 different colors. And I just kind of pick the ones that go with each tumbler. And once we apply the last strip of vinyl, we are finally ready to apply the image. But I really like adding these little vinyl decals. To me, it just makes them look a little bit more classy. And I did decide to kind of angle this decal versus having it straight across. For those of you that have not used printable vinyl before, it is basically like a giant sticker. You peel the backing off and then you're left with the image. Now, since this was a watercolored image, there were a lot of little white spots that were kind of cut out. So I did go with my tweezers and remove all of those little white spots. You definitely don't want to seal those in with your epoxy. You want to get your decal as clean as you can get it. And once you have your image how you like it, you can apply it to your cup. For larger decals, I typically start with pressing it down in the center and then smoothing down one side at a time. And after I got my decal on my cup, I did put it on my turner and apply 2 coats of quick coat. You don't have to seal printable vinyl before you epoxy, but because I had so many different vinyl strips, nail tape strips, all those kind of things on my tumbler, I did not want to risk any of that lifting under epoxy, so I wanted to make sure it was good and sealed in. But then after the quick coat dries, I will apply 2 layers of epoxy. Whenever I have decals on my cup, I always apply 2 additional coats of epoxy just to make sure that everything is sealed in as best as it can be. And then once your epoxy is cured, your tumbler will be finished. In my pictures, you will see that the decal is kind of sparkly. I did actually mix some micro fine glitter into the first layer of epoxy just to give that decal a little sparkle as well. So here are some finished pictures. I love how this tumbler turned out. I typically don't work a whole lot with your typical fall tumblers, but I actually really like how all of these colors look together, and I love the striping that I did. So I hope you guys can draw some inspiration from these and create your own version, and I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. If y'all enjoyed this video or learned something new, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Also, don't forget to catch the next video coming up that was picked just for you. As always, if you're looking for more tips, tricks, and tutorials, be sure to check out my tutorial group on Facebook and my Patreon group. Both are linked in the description. Thanks for watching.